And tonight on the ABC News, OJ Simpson kills one more person. Oh my god, I can't believe it. OJ kills another person? I didn't know Minute Maid orange juice could kill people. I guess what happened here was that someone poisoned the OJ and, killed somebody. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time on ABC, the horrible news in the whole world. Thank you. Well, I hope you liked how I did my commercials. I'm going to be a star. I've always been a star, I just have to go to Hollywood, and then I'll just, everybody would be like going, oh, I want your autograph. Oh, I want your autograph. But anyways, see you later. Adios. Ciao.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, etc., all that stuff. I'm glad you're here. It's Thursday. That means it's OJ Day. It's only OJ Day for 3 more weeks. We got today, and then, counting today. We got today, and then 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks after today, and we'll be done with OJ, and then we'll be starting the ritual witchcraft murder trial. We'll tell you a little bit more about that as we wrap up this case. But until then, stay tuned. As we come to the end of our OJ series, I'm gonna miss 9-year-old Ari Jacob and her cute little introduction that she did there. She was on with Danny on Direct and Megan earlier. I guess it was late last night for you guys, earlier today for me. So if you want to go check out that, you can see Ari, like modern day Ari, and Megan Fox and Flux over on Danny on Direct Valentine's Day stream. But here we are. We're here today, and we should kind of get into this because we got a bit of a slog to get through today. Hopefully, we won't go too much over the 2-hour mark, but we'll see. Let's see where we are here. We've got 64 of you here. People are just tired of OJ. They're tired of OJ. 64 of you and only 30 likes. Come on, people. The 64 of you that are here know you should be hitting that like button, and you still haven't done it. This isn't your first rodeo, kids. Get down there, hit that like button, and then take our like and subscribe poll. And dang it, there's 10 more votes than there are people that have hit the like button. You 10, get down there and hit that like button right now. 70 viewers, 37 likes. Come on, people. Let's get up to 70 likes. All right, and then take our like and subscribe poll. The like and subscribe poll today is fairly basic. I pointed out in the introduction, in the title, the description of the video, and over on Twitter, that Marsha Clark was going to be doing the rebuttal today. I was wrong. It's Chris Darden. Surprise! It's a surprise Dardening. Marsha will be next week. But just to keep you a little bit tantalized, at the end of today, there's going to be a big old fight between Marsha, Barry Sheck, and Darden. So stay tuned for the big fight at the end. It's amusing to me. But then take our like and subscribe poll. Our like and subscribe poll today is: how do you feel about hearing from Chris Darden today? Meh. Ugh. What did I do to deserve this? And crying in a fetal position in the shower. those are your choices for today. We'll check in an hour or so and see how the poll's doing. How am I doing? I must admit, I am feeling really lethargic today. I'm just feeling drained, and it's all my fault because since my tendonitis thing flared up, and I got this, and I've been on crutches for 6 weeks. I've finally been off crutches for about 5 days now. I haven't had a bath in ages. I love baths. I was just like sitting in a bath, having a drink, reading a book, watching something on Netflix. I'm going to have myself a nice hot bath. Kind of help with a little bit of the swelling on the ankle and whatnot. So that's what I did. That's what I did. I took this amazingly super hot bath with a cherry bath bomb in it, and I read a book and I had some whiskey and I stayed in there for like an hour, and it just drained me of my energy. I am so relaxed right now. I am so relaxed right now. So I'll try to get the energy up. So I tried to up the energy by watching a couple of episodes of Yellowstone. I figure, like beatings and murders of the day, watching Yellowstone, that I'd get a little bit invigorated, but no, I'm still pretty chill. So we'll have a Daily Quick Bite says bath bomb gay, dude. Bath bombs are in fact the bomb. Oh my God, this is like super cherry scented, and it's just I want to go back in the bathtub and just sleep. All right. Do you have a TV in your bathroom? No, I don't have a TV in my bathroom. That would be no, I just if I watch something, I just take my tablet in and watch Netflix or something. But all right, that's enough of my personal hygiene habits for the day. Now today is the big test of audio, because it's the first time we're going to be doing the audio over a court stream. So hopefully the audio. I was diagnosing an audio problem last week when my power decided to off itself, and I took it as you all may have heard. I lost power to my computer. Nothing I did would solve. I ran through everything, and I did everything imaginable to try to solve the situation. Nothing worked. So I took it into the computer center. They plugged it in. It started right up, and they're like, yeah, what do you want us to do about it? What do you want us to do? It's working fine. There's not a problem with it. And so I had them clean it. They kind of gave it a really good cleaning. And they said, no, we just kept turning it on and off all day today. And it's never not turned on. So we really don't know what to do. We really don't know how to help. So I'm like, well, there must have been some sort of magic, because it's working fine. And it seems to have mysteriously fixed whatever audio problem there was. So, all right. That's where we are. So let's jump in. We got 83 people here now, but still only 50 likes. Get that up to 83 likes. And we're going to jump right into the prosecution's rebuttal in closing arguments for the OJ Simpson trial. Again, 2 more weeks after today, so bear with us. We are almost done. Yeah, let's pull it on up. Oh, and as always, the puppy cam. The puppy cam is here, and by puppy I mean like 23 kilo, like 50-pound monsters over here. Their cam is locked and loaded. If through your generosity we unlock the puppy cam achievement, the dog cam, the doggo cam, if you will. People starting to hate the term doggo, so we'll just call it like the dog cam. Sounds kind of meh. We might just call it the puppy cam, or the pig. We'll call it the pig dog cam. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it the pig dog cam. $100 unlocks the pig dog cam achievement. So if you want to see the pig dogs, we'll see if that works. And we'll read the super chats as they come in, because we're only going to be talking over Christopher Darden. So let's get it on.
Simpson is again present before the court with his counsel, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Cochran, Mr. Blazier, Mr. Neufeld, Mr. Scheck, people represented by Ms. Clark.
All right, the jury's not there, and I'm just going to hear how this sounds.
Jury is not present. Counsel, just one matter before we get started this morning. You should have on your desk there the court schedule upcoming. And if you recollect, the one thing that's missing on the court schedule is that we had agreed to be dark in this matter. My recollection was
I'm just going to have to talk over Judge Ito here just for a quick second. Sorry about that.
On Tuesday, and that will be in effect for that date as well. All right, anything else we need to take up? All right, Deputy Smith, let's have the jury, please.
All right, the audio sounds perfect to me. I was just listening to it through my phone. And so if any of you can't hear it, well, that's your problem.
We're about to clear the courtroom.
Your Honor, Ms. Clark was just showing us.
It should be sounding great.
They have some new boards we've not seen. When Your Honor came out, we just started looking at the first one. Maybe we have a few minutes to see the boards.
How many do you have, Ms. Clark?
No, it's not just boards.
Uh-oh.
And if there are any graphics, we'd like also to see them.
All right, let's see the boards.
Uh-oh.
And then we'll find out the graphics.
Uh-oh. I think we need to get this out. No, not yet. I don't want to blow my wad all at the beginning. We'll say. Oh, he's
All
going
right.
to talk. Oh dear. Stand by for. I'm feeling it.
All right, counsel, this is going to be a discussion on the record, not amongst ourselves
Whew,
here. All right.
we narrowly avoided a body snatcher sighting. No, we didn't. Oh God! Don't zoom in on him.
I've
Don't.
seen it. All right, let's see the peels. Very nice.
I'm just going to enjoy a small glass of Glendeveron 16-year Scotch. That's what I'll be drinking tonight, and a custom rolled cigar. So that's what's on the menu today. Barry, look out, Barry! There's a body snatcher near you. Oh, phew, narrowly avoided it again. Oh, I know what we need. We need the overlay, don't we? Overlay. Yeah, there we go. Chocolate rain. Do 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 do. Chocolate rain. Do 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 do.
How much does that weigh, Mr. Fairlow? How much does that weigh?
No, not you, Marcia. The sign. Sorry, that was rude. My camera is tilted down, isn't it? Whatever. Deal with it. You don't get to see the top of my hat today. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to change
All right,
my
stop.
hat.
Why don't you let Mr. Fairlow do this, and let's look at the other board. All right, counsel, let's look at the reliability of DNA results board.
Oh my God. Christopher Darden better not be talking about DNA. That would be like the worst combo ever. Chris Darden rebutting arguments about DNA evidence. Oh Lord.
And Ms. Clark, how many slides do you have? Roughly.
It's almost like the cameraman knows what we're waiting for. He's put on the
Everything else is either
sunglasses.
in evidence or previously used, correct?
Why the hell is he wearing sunglasses in court? Johnny Cochran so flash with those heart ties that he needs to wear sunglasses. OJ's future is so bright he's got to wear shades. Future's so bright, gotta wear. Hey, whatever happened to the Georgia satellites? I wear my sunglasses in court so I can see the light.
All right, do you have copies
Whatever
of
happened to
those
Corey
reports
Hart?
so I can
All
review
you
it?
Canadians, whatever happened to Corey Hart? That was the first concert I took a date to. Corey Hart,
All right,
Corey
Mr.
Hart,
Fairlow,
Boy in the
we
Box. Yeah, that was the
ready
first.
to
That was the
preview
first
the
concert I
slide?
took a date to.
All right.
That was also the day I got my job at the radio station. Don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Oh my Lord. Why didn't they just skip through this? La 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 la.
All right, next.
Hey, Getty Lee is still cool. So is Eric Leifson and well, Rip Neil Peart, you know. We took all the other good Canadians, William Shatner and Dan Aykroyd and Rick Moranis. We took all the good Canadians.
Next. Next. Next.
Yeah, Rip Gordon Lightfoot, Rip Norm MacDonald, Rip Neal.
Next.
Rip Canada. John Candy, Eugene Levy.
Next.
Yeah.
Next.
Bob Odenkirk, I believe, is also Canadian, isn't he? Corey Hart moved to the Bahamas and is still putting out music. I hope you're serious. Like him and David Hasselhoff are like touring Germany or something like that. That'd be awesome. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, can we move this along? I'm going to skip a few minutes here and see what happens. I'm going to skip like a minute.
All right, any other comments?
Oh, nope. Wait.
That's it. That's it. All right, Deputy Smith, let's have the jurors, please.
Any other comments? Johnny Cocker's like, yeah, no, we're done. Judge, you asked if there's any other comments.
All right, at this time, the defense has concluded their summation, and the prosecution now has the opportunity to offer their rebuttal to the defense summation.
Yeah.
And Ms. Clark, the prosecution may proceed. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Darden?
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Well, we've come full circle again, it seems. Here you are, and
Oh, God damn it. My lighter's out of gas.
as Judge Ito just indicated, this is my last opportunity to speak with you. That is until after you render your verdict. If at that time you're kind enough to spare a few moments and allow me to thank you personally at that time, not only for your verdict, but for your service as well. You've got a tough job.
Well, shit. I've got to go get a lighter.
Very tough job.
Yep.
I don't envy
Yep.
you in that regard.
I don't envy you
tell
that
you
you have to
something.
sit here
I've had a
with
tough
Chris
job, too.
Darden while I'm gone. So, but anyway, I'll be right
The law
back.
is a tough thing to enforce in this town. Not everybody wants to live up to the law or follow the law. Not everybody thinks that the law applies to them. I have been a prosecutor for almost 15 years. And if there's one rule that I've lived by, if there's one rule that means a lot to me, it's this one. No one's above the law. Not the police, not the rich. No one. And I hope you agree with that. I hope you agree with that rule. I hope you consider that that motto. OJ Simpson isn't above the law. You've heard a lot of argument over the past couple of days. And I know you listened to all of the attorneys in this case intently, and I did when I could. And I listened yesterday.
Has he talked about what a piece of
And I
crap
had been
Furman is yet?
anticipating yesterday's arguments from the defense. I knew that those arguments would be passionate. I knew they'd be loud, and I knew they'd be forceful, and I knew that they'd be provocative,
Unlike you.
and I wasn't disappointed. But I also knew that they wouldn't talk much about the evidence.
That's all they did for hours on end was talk about the evidence. Jeebus,
That's
dude.
okay. And I knew they'd want to deliver a message to you. And that's why when I spoke to you the other day, I said to you, hey, you can't send a message to Furman. You can't send a message to the LAPD. You can't eradicate racism within the LAPD or within the LA community or within the nation as a whole by delivering a verdict of not guilty in a case like this, where it is clear, and you know it's clear, you feel it, you know it in your heart, you know it. As you have sat here day after day listening to this testimony, you know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows he
Everybody
killed.
knows. Everybody knows.
Proceed.
Everybody. Hey, there's another great
Everybody
Canadian
knows.
man. Yeah.
Proceed.
The evidence is there.
Rip him
You
too.
just have to find your way through the smoke. You just have to find your way to the smoke. You heard from Mr. Sheck
Leonard
yesterday.
Cohen,
You heard
man.
him talk
Leonard
about our
Cohen's
science.
Canadian,
They have
isn't
to
he?
attack our science because all the science points to OJ Simpson, to this defendant. It all points to him as the killer.
Leonard Cohen's Canadian, if I remember.
They have to
correctly.
attack that science. Not only does common sense dictate that he is guilty, we have proven him guilty to a scientific certainty.
Yes, he was born in
Proven him guilty
Westmount,
beyond a
Canada. I
reasonable
knew,
doubt.
I knew he
They
was
hoisted
Canadian.
that chart up on the thing there yesterday with reasonable doubt. You remember that chart? It had reasonable doubt at the top, and below that it had highly unlikely and all this other stuff. They put it on this thing, and then they hoisted it all the way up to the ceiling. That isn't reasonable doubt.
He's still Canadian,
That's not
Porcelain
what I'm
Thunder.
required to prove to you. Mr. Cochran said to you, well, reasonable doubt is doubt with a reason. That's not reasonable doubt.
Kind of is, though.
When you look back at that instruction, when you look back at the reasonable
All
doubt
wrestlers are
instruction, you'll
Canadian.
see
They're just all wrestlers are Canadian by
comes to
default.
human affairs, there's always some degree of doubt, no matter how small. The sun could explode tomorrow. It could explode today, but I doubt that that'll happen.
Jesus Christ, he's putting
I
you to
really
sleep,
have
and
no reason to believe that's true.
we're 13 minutes in. I just want to
I have
sleep.
no reason to believe that the sun will explode today or tomorrow. When you read the reasonable doubt instruction, read it and apply it to your everyday situation, your everyday circumstances. What does it take? What does it take you as a human being, after hearing all the evidence and hearing the law that the judge gives you? What does it take for you to feel comfortable in your conclusion that he killed these people?
Dude is like the Eeyore of lawyers. Well, Pooh.
They said that you have to be able to wake up the next
Guess we
day,
got a murder on our hands, Pooh.
feel as if the day before, the day that you rendered your verdict, that you did the right thing, that you rendered a verdict that you can live with. Let me ask you this. If you were to acquit him, what explanation would you give the day after that acquittal?
You'd
Someone said, "Why
fucked
did you
up and
acquit him?"
didn't prove your case. How's that? That's the explanation. The prosecutor
racism?
sucked.
Would you say it's because there's racism in the LAPD? That's what they want you to
No, we'd
say.
say because you fucked up and
That's
put
what
the
they
worst
want you to
racist in
think.
the LAPD
You
on the
heard all of that-
stand.
all the speaking and the fiery rhetoric and the quotes from Proverbs and the like. You heard all of that yesterday, all of that fiery rhetoric. Well, let me tell you what Marshall Clark and I are. Let me tell you who we are. We are the voice.
We are the
voices of
road
calm and
crew.
reason in all of this. You just need to calm down. Take that common sense God gave you. Go
Lovers.
back in the jury room. Don't let these people get you all riled up and all fired up because
Yeah,
Furman
ain't
is a
nobody
racist.
getting you riled up or fired
Racism
up, dude.
blinds you. Those epithets, they blind you. You never
Blinded
heard
me
me
with
use that epithet in
epithets.
this courtroom, did you? I'm not going to put on that kind of show.
What, you mean
you know
repeat
who
the same exact
people
word that
watch.
your witness said 42 times on tape?
That's
That
not
word?
where we're coming from. We want you to focus on the evidence. I am eternally grateful that Mr. Furman was exposed to be what he is.
Lies.
I
Lies.
think we should know who those people are.
You liar.
I've said it once, I've said it before. We ought to put a big stamp, tattoo it on their forehead, racist, so that when we see them, we know who they are.
Well, it
So
certainly
there's
would have helped
speculation
you,
so that
wouldn't
we
it?
don't have to
It would have
guess.
helped you maybe not put him on the stand, you
But
fuckwit.
what they want you to do, and what they've done in this case, is they've interjected this racism. And now they want you
Ugh.
to become impassioned, to be upset. And then they want you to make quantum leaps in logic and in judgment. They want you to say, Furman is a racist, he planted the glove. You can't get from point A to point B if you just sit down and use your common sense, if you're logical, if you're reasonable.
I
you
want
can't do
Darden
that.
to read me Goodnight Moon. That's the best thing I've read all day. That's hilarious.
It is true
Put the kids to sleep
that Furman
instantly.
is racist. And it is also true that he killed these two people. And we proved that he killed the two people.
No,
and
you
they
didn't.
proved that Furman is a racist. See, this is my time to talk.
Oh, yeah, you're asserting your
Yesterday,
dominance
somebody
over
said
him,
that
aren't
You
you?
can't quiet a man's voice in a court of law. This is my time to talk, and I want to talk to you.
Dude, you suck. Seriously.
I heard that the words they spoke yesterday about the Constitution.
That's what it is. It's like if Chris Darden, and if any of you have seen the movie The Room, he'll know what I'm talking about. This is like Chris Darden wrote it. It's like Chris Darden wrote and starred in like the black version of The Room. Hey, jury, we proved he killed them. OJ totally hit that guy.
I read the Constitution. I'm a lawyer. I am a student of the Constitution. I know what it means and what it doesn't mean. I know what it is. Gil Scott Heron said that the Constitution was just a notebook piece of paper. You remember that? And that's probably true. But what makes it more than that is the fact that there are decent, honest, and courageous people behind it. You can write the law, but if you're not willing to enforce the law, then what is it? What is it worth? You can write the law, you can pass a law, but if people aren't willing to follow the law,
Yeah, you can pass a kidney stone too, but that doesn't mean it's good. Oh,
then what good is it? I looked back at the Constitution last night. I sent my clerk to go get it for me. And I looked through the Constitution, and you know what I saw? I saw some stuff in the Constitution about Ron and about Nicole.
something about 3/5 of a
And the
person.
Constitution said that Ron and Nicole had the right to liberty. It said that they had the right to life. It said that they had a right to the pursuit of happiness.
OJ killed her. He did.
It said that Nicole didn't have to stay with him if she didn't want to stay with him. That's what the Constitution said. And I looked further, and I looked in the Constitution to see if it said anything about OJ Simpson. And you know what it said? It
said he
said
was
he doesn't
3/5
have
of
the
a
right
person.
to take those lives. He did not have the right to do what he did. They talk about courage. Courage is what Marsha Clark and I do every day. It's time to stand up. It is time to stand up. The Constitution says that a man has no right to kill and then get away with it just because one of the investigating officers is a racist. Your job as jurors in this case is to get beyond all of that. The fact that Furman is a racist goes to his bias, it goes to his credibility.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they go to other things the judge will tell you. And I'm not going to tell you that you should limit your use of that.
You're kind
You
of
should
trying
use
to.
it in any way you're instructed to use it by the court, but you shouldn't use it for anything else. As I said the other day, the issue of Furman, it may not be an issue for another day, but it certainly isn't an issue. It's not an issue. That is, in terms of sending him a message, it's not an issue for you in this case. You can't send him a message. You can't send the LAPD a message. You want to send the LAPD a message? I'm sure they will listen to you after this case is over. I'm sure that they will.
Yeah.
I listened to the lawyers talk to you, and it's been a long trial. And there has been a lot of evidence in this case, a lot of testimony. And it is easy to get lost in it all. It certainly is for me.
Clearly it's easy for you.
There were some days when the day just seemed to run on so long. Has it been a year and 3 days now?
Now, remember how like 20 minutes ago he said they didn't talk to you about the evidence? He hasn't mentioned a single piece of evidence in 20 minutes.
But it's easy to get lost in the evidence. And it's easy for lawyers to get lost in the evidence.
No, it's not.
And as
Just
Judge
if you're
Ito told you
stupid like
before,
you.
and I think I told you the other day, nothing we say in this argument is evidence. Nothing I say to you today is evidence. Certainly nothing they said to you is evidence in this case. The evidence is what you heard from the witness stand. The evidence is the exhibits. I listened to one of the lawyers testify in this case. I heard lawyers add things, add facts into the record. Or attempt to. The facts are what you heard in testimony by people who took an oath and who sat down in that chair. If you find what they said to be true, then you find a fact. Nothing a lawyer says is a fact. They said yesterday that I'm an advocate. Well, I am an advocate, and they are advocates too. You've taken notes throughout this trial. We watched you all take notes. Rely on those notes. Rely on the court reporter's transcript. Rely on your own recollection. Don't be misled. Don't be misled, because I listened to lawyers argue yesterday. You know what we do when we start to argue and get all caught up? You know, you get that roll going, and pretty soon, hey, you just start saying stuff. You just start saying stuff. And it may not necessarily be true. It may not necessarily be what's in the record.
Okay, so you spent 5 minutes calling the defense liars.
Rely on the record. If you rely on the record and use your common sense, you'll find your way through the smoke. And I told you there was going to be some smoke. I told you there'd been some smoke.
Not Baby
Yesterday,
Liberty.
we heard the smoke. It was fiery rhetoric.
No, not Baby Liberty. Leave Baby
That's
Liberty
what we do.
alone.
We're lawyers. I was reading last night about how important it is to remain calm.
Do you have any other mode than calm?
We heard a lot of quotations over the last couple of days. And I remember the story that I'd read once. And a lot of people quote Martin Luther King and the like, and that's all fine. But, you know, I'm a student of that. I've studied him and studied him and studied him.
Have
I
you
recall that in
really?
1961, there was an incident involving Dr. King. And it might be helpful for you to recall this, as I'm sure you do. But it was 1961, and he'd written a book, and he was up in Harlem, and there was a book signing. And
What is he talking about?
he was seated there at the table.
We
a lot of
interrupt this
people
story for a drink of
Walking
coffee.
up to him, asking him to sign their books, meeting him, saying hello. And finally, this one woman walked up to him, and she said to him, "Are you Martin Luther King?" And he said, "Well, ma'am, yes, I am." And she said, "Well, I've been looking for you." And she reached into her purse and she pulled out an envelope opener and she plunged it into his chest.
Marsha, did y'all see Marsha? Oh no, we got to go back. Look at that when he talks about this weird letter opener, Martin Luther King story. When he talked about plunging, look at Marsha go, what the fuck are you talking about? All right, we got to go back here. Where are we at now? We're at 25:10. Let's go back just a couple seconds. All right.
Saying hello. And finally, this
Watch
one woman walked up to
Marsha.
him.
Watch Marsha. Keep your eye here on
And she
Marsha.
said to him, "Are you Martin Luther King?" And he said, "Well, ma'am, yes, I am." And she said, "Well, I've been looking for you." And she reached into her purse and
Watch
she
this.
pulled
The
out an envelope
fuck look on
opener
her face.
and she plunged it into his chest. People in the store were
She was taking her
horrified.
notes, and she's like,
And everyone became panicked, and people began running and screaming, "Oh my God, Dr. King has been stabbed. Oh my God, Dr. King has been stabbed." And he fell to the floor.
and can you imagine if that's really what they did? If there was just like a group of people standing around going, "Oh my God, Dr. King has been stabbed. Oh my God, Dr. King has been stabbed." Can you imagine if that's like actually how they said it? Oh, while we're paused, I wish I was drunk. Thank you so much for the €2 kicking us off the first super chat of the evening, and hopefully not the last. Hopefully that won't be the last. But thank you so much for that. Where'd we go here? Boom, here we are. How are we, lads and lasses? Hope all is well. All is well here. All ain't going so well for Chris Darden. But thank you so much for the support and for deflowering the super chat today. Thank you so much.
And he laid there. And one of his assistants ran over to him and saw this massive thing embedded in his chest. And the assistant started to reach for it to pull it out. And Dr. King calmly said, "No. Don't touch it. Just get me to a hospital."
Do not withdraw the letter
assistant
opener, for I will
He was
bleed
hysterical.
out.
"Doctor, let me pull it out. Let me pull it out." Dr. King was calm. He lay there with this thing embedded in his chest, and he said, "No, just don't touch it. I'll be all right. Just get me to the hospital."
That's because he knew you shouldn't withdraw the blade
And
you've
so
been
the
stuck with.
assistant did as he was told, as Dr. King instructed him to do. And they took him to the hospital. And they rushed him into surgery, and they operated on him for 5 hours. And they removed what for all intents and purposes was a knife out of his chest.
Is he going to pretend to cry?
And it was removed by a black doctor, black surgeon, I'm proud to say.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. All right, the DCV Titan. Thank you so much, DCV Titan, for the $5 Canadian. This is California. Baby Liberty is getting passed around at all the... No! Immediately. Go to the penalty box. Penalty box for you. 5 minutes for just being a bad person, DCV Titan. Let's cleanse our palate with Adara the Wholesome. Adara the Wholesome. Thank you so much. Fun fact with $5 super chat. Fun fact I learned from Jeff's coverage of OJ. I was born the day Marky Mark Furman was revealed to be a hashtag horrible genocidal racist on a rainy California day. Well, there you go. Happy Mark Furman Day, I guess. when the time comes. Thank you so much. Let's get back to this story. How does it end? And
a few days later, the surgeon went to see Dr. King, who was still resting and rehabilitating in the hospital. And he went to see him, and the doctor said to Dr. King, he said, "It's a good thing you were so calm, Dr. King. It's a good thing you were so calm about the whole thing. The point of that blade was touching your aorta. Had you moved suddenly, if you so much as sneezed, you would have died instantly."
Well, it wouldn't have been instantly, really.
You would have drowned in your own blood.
Yeah, that's not instantly. And never mind.
Some folks would like to get you all riled up, get you so upset.
I wish I was drunk with you $2, €2. Thank you. Thank you for the more. There is some waffle going on here. He's on one. Thank you.
So that you choke on the smoke. Some people want to make you mad and angry and bitter.
It doesn't work. If you choke on the smoke, OJ's guilty. What?
King once wrote that,
No, it doesn't
that
work.
we should never succumb to the temptation of bitterness.
Look at him trying to black
And
it
that
up.
the one thing
suddenly.
about bitterness is its blindness.
This has all been like, I'm black too. I know this guy, Dr. King. I read a
Don't
story
be
about him
blinded by
last
all
night.
this. Just do your job. I know you know what your job is. I know you know what to do. And I hope you don't mind too much that I keep reminding you of that job, because this is important.
Don't mind. I put
This case
down
is
in
important. This is a murder
How
case.
wonderful life is.
There are two people that are
With
dead.
OJ in the world.
I think it's safe to say at this point, after all that I've heard over the last few days, I think it's safe to say that I'm the messenger. And I volunteered for that job, and I don't mind being the messenger.
I am he who
I
prosecutes.
told you what the message was. In 1989, the message was that he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me.
God, Darden's going to kill me.
And Edward said, who's going to kill you? OJ.
Only an hour and 20 minutes left.
OJ, the football player?
Yeah.
He's going to kill me. That was a message in 1989.
But there is a good
new
long
message
fight. So we've
today.
got maybe like an hour of Darden left. Then there's
There's
going to be a
another
big
message.
fight amongst the
The
lawyers.
message in 89 was that he's going to kill me. The message in 95 is he killed me. That's what this has been all about. That's the message we've been trying to send you the past 8 months. The message is he killed her. And there's another message. You might not be able to hear and see it and read it through all the smoke and through all the shouting and all the rhetoric, but there's another message. And the other message is he killed me too.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This is the worst. This is
He killed
bad.
me too.
There is still no evidence. He complained that the defense didn't talk about any evidence. He hasn't talked about evidence in 40 minutes. Island, what's up,
All the
Island?
smoke.
Island with the $2 super
Over all the
chat.
rhetoric.
Thank you. This sick day bedtime story
You've
is
got
so
to be
relaxing.
calm and not succumb to bitterness
Thank you.
and do the right thing.
Yeah, I
I
just
heard a
shaved
lot
mine
about
tonight.
courage.
We're good. Yeah. Come on, step up your hair game, dude.
And you are 14 courageous people. And everybody in this room knows that. No one can ever call you cowards. No one can ever accuse you people of running away. Because you have a tough job and you know you have a tough job. And you have sat here day after day,
Killing me softly.
even
with
when you were
his
sick.
words.
Even when you were sick, you came here and you listened to us. You listened to Marsha and I, and you listened to the defense. They want you to believe that if you acquit him, that will be the courageous thing to do. I think the courageous thing to do in this case would be to look at all the evidence. I think that takes courage. I
What?
think it takes courage
How
not
does
to jump to a snap conclusion. I think it takes courage to recognize within ourselves that what we heard yesterday was an appeal to a certain part of us. And it was an appeal to some of us, perhaps, and not all of us. But it was an appeal to a certain part of us that only some of us know about.
Dang, I missed the jump to conclusions button.
That's what happened yesterday. I think it takes courage to recognize that. You mistrust the police.
He's so nervous.
It's been 7
Just
years.
the way he's moving
prosecuting
around,
bad
he's
police.
constantly
I
like
understand why you mistrust
doing
the
this with
police.
the microphone.
You have that basic mistrust. I understand that.
Notice how Barry Scheck leaned on that lectern for hours and it didn't make a single noise. You just constantly have this noise because he's moving shit, he's rattling the podium, he's rocking back and forth. This is a nervous, uncomfortable dude. Lawyer fight, says Adara the Wholesome. My dollar's on Cochran. He has Wookiee strength. The main person for the defense in the argument is Barry Scheck. So there's a spoiler alert for you.
And perhaps you ought to.
He's like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Technically, it's a
But I think that what
lectern,
we
not a
have to do
podium.
is we have
but,
to take
you know.
every case on a case-by-case basis. And every cop on a cop-by-cop basis. Yesterday, they took Furman, this racist, and then they put Van Adder with him. And pretty soon they were interchanging Van Adder and Furman. Van Adder's been a detective 27, 28 years. You hear anybody come in here and say he ever used that word?
What?
It's easy to put up a big poster and say Van Adder's big lies. That's easy to do.
Especially when it's true and they're actually documented from the evidence that was submitted in court. That makes it really
They
easy.
say that he made an off-the-cuff remark 8 months ago.
Hi, Van Adder.
That's what some people said.
Yeah, he made an off-the-cuff remark 8 months ago. Like, yeah. Like at a very important time.
You heard what he said. Do you remember everything you say?
Do you
know
thrill of
everything that
humiliation
you've said?
fuel their
Does every
affairs?
lawyer in this case know everything that they've said? I heard one of the lawyers say that there was a Caucasian hair on the Rockingham glove and that hair was...
Willie Bott, I think it just happened once. And
there was never any attempt to match that hair.
She wasn't swayed by
and that it could be Furman's.
Marsha. Oh, Marsha, this feels so good. Oh,
That wasn't true.
Marsha. Oh, I'm going to come now.
That's not what's in the record.
That wasn't really exciting. That's my guess.
I'm not going to put up a big poster and say...
And Denver, all hail
lies.
Chris Darden, disciple of Hypnos. Thank you for the £5.
Sometimes people misspeak. Sometimes people forget. Sometimes people are wrong. Sometimes they said things they don't remember saying. Sometimes they said things that they do remember saying and won't admit to them. We have some of all of that in this case, I suppose. Well, let's talk about some of the things we heard.
Sorry,
over the last
Liz
couple
Botts.
of days. Let's talk about some of the evidence.
Sorry. Oh,
As I listened to him,
35 minutes
I
in,
got
he's
the
going to
sense
talk about
almost
the
that They had
evidence.
sort of designed a special thing for each and every one of you. And this is high-tech stuff talking to juries these days. This is 1995. There are people that know what to say to individual jurors or particular jurors.
This is high-tech stuff.
I heard someone pose a question. What more could an innocent man do? You remember that question? You saw the videotape. You saw Officer Thompson standing there at the driveway. You saw the defendant arrive. You saw him get out of the car. You saw him walk up the driveway. He walked up the driveway carrying this black bag over his shoulder. Remember that? He got out of a car, walked up the driveway. And then a few minutes later, we see Robert Kardashian carrying a Louis Vuitton bag. The police have a search warrant to search Rockingham. Have you ever heard that they had a search warrant to search Robert Kardashian?
What?
And when you pull up to your house, do you jump out of the car and give your luggage to your lawyer?
You do if you think the cops are coming after you.
That was June 13, 1994.
And of course, this is Robert. If I know everybody knows, but I have to. Just in case one or two of you don't know, this is Robert Kardashian, father of arguably all, possibly most of the, arguably most, possibly all of the Kardashian clan that we know and love.
And what is the testimony? What have we heard in this case? On March 28, 1995, retired Judge Delbert Wong, very fine judge, acting as a special master, an extension of Judge Ito, acting at Judge Ito's direction, he went to the defendant's house where a Louis Vuitton bag was pointed out to him.
I can't.
Judge Wong brought that bag to court.
Change.
Where's the bag?
Adara the Wholesome, $2 more super chat. More tithing for
Judge
Doggo
Wong
Cam.
told us
Thank
that it
you
was
for
on
thank you,
March
Twitch
28th
payment.
that he
Aw.
retrieved that bag.
Thank you so much
When
for
you look back at the
sharing
video,
wealth.
you'll see that that bag is bulging. What's in that bag?
What's in the bag?
What was in that bag? Don't you want to know what was in that bag?
What's in the bag?
And I bet that at least once since I've been up here talking, I bet there's been somebody back there shaking their head side to side. Has that happened? This is the evidence. They talked about evidence yesterday. They talked about showing you the evidence. This is the evidence. This bag is empty. There's nothing in this bag. There's nothing in this bag. Why bring this empty bag here to court to you? That's not what you're interested in. That's not what you want to know. When I finished here the other day, I left some questions for them. Who was that man that walked into the house that night? That's what you want to know. Who was the man Alan Parks saw walk into the house? And let me tell you something. Search your notes, search your memory. They never brought it up. They never mentioned it. They never mentioned it.
They don't have to, you fucktard.
Never.
They don't have to. See, Barry Scheck's getting ready to make an objection.
That's
like,
what
we
you
don't
want
have
to
to
know.
do it.
You don't want to know
See,
what's
Barry
in an
Scheck-
empty bag.
Yes, this might be what starts the fight. I don't know what started the fight. That might be it right there. Because that's some bullshit there.
Told you that
That's
one of the
some
lawyers
bullshit.
was in. Well, told you the lawyers were testifying. They were adding evidence and information into this case that you never heard from the witness stand. Chipping golf balls. There was golf balls in that little black bag. You know, remember the bag left on the driveway? The one that Cato offered to go get that the defendant said, no, I'll get it. This is the night when he's supposedly suffering from acute arthritis, an attack of acute arthritis. Remember that? Remember somebody told you that he suffered from acute arthritis to the point that he couldn't deal cards or something?
Yeah, we remember that piece of evidence from the defense. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yesterday, we heard somebody interject into this case that he was out chipping golf balls. I assume you do that with a golf club. I don't know. Do you ever hear anybody on the witness stand tell you that this man was out chipping golf balls? Did you ever hear that on the night of June 12th? There's no evidence in this case to that effect. And then I believe the suggestion was made that that black bag was put into the golf bag with the golf clubs. There it is. You have it in evidence. You find that little bag, the one with the golf balls, the one Alan Park described, the one Cato Kalin described, let me know.
Even the one that your witness
That's
described?
what you want to know, isn't it? Don't you want to know what was in that little bag? The one he wouldn't let anybody touch, the one that disappeared.
Put the gun down.
I saw you in the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
They showed these bags to Judge Delbert Wong. Why didn't they show him that one? There was the issue of the white Reebok shoes. They were all over Detective Lang about
White
taking those
Reeboks
white
matter.
Reebok shoes home. Why did Detective Lang pick up those white Reebok shoes in the first place?
Yeah, cops
told
never
them that
pick up
they had
white things.
Any amount of relevancy, any relevancy at all to this particular case. Who directed him to those white shoes? Who said that they had on those white shoes the evening before when they were asked by the detective? You know who. No one testified to having seen this man, this defendant, OJ Simpson, wearing white Reebok tennis shoes that night. Cato Kalin didn't say it. You see that picture from the recital, the one they want to show you? Do you see any white Reebok tennis shoes on this man's feet in that photograph? What's up with that?
What's up with that? That's the finest legal argument there is to make.
What's up with that?
What's up with that, jury? What's up
Why
with
does he only
that?
get white Reebok shoes? He didn't wear white Reebok shoes that night. There's no evidence of that in this case. Smoke.
What you talking about, Willis?
Smoke, ladies and gentlemen. They are blowing smoke. And let me tell you, they made a big deal out of those white Reebok tennis shoes. They were all over Detective Lang about taking those shoes home. Remember? Remember that? They were all over him. They were trying to make him look like a fool for taking those white Reebok shoes home. Did you hear in this trial at any time that there was any forensic evidence if there was any forensic value to those shoes. Do you know anything about hair and blood and fiber, anything having to do with those white Reebok tennis shoes? They sent Detective Lang off on a wild goose chase, and when the goose got to the witness stand, they tried to roast him.
He is so bad at this. He is so bad. Oh, he's just really bad.
They want you to throw your common sense out the window. Just chuck it out the window. You can't do that. They talk all this stuff about race and everything. We got one racist cop. You know, and the last time, from what the evidence is, and trust me, I am no apologist for this man. But the last time, according to the evidence, that anybody heard him use a slur was in 1988. They say since he used it in 1988, he must be a racist. Well, the last time
Say something stupid,
that we
Darden.
know it from the stand that the defendant beat up Nicole was in 1989. If you say it in 88 and you're a racist in 94, well, what are you if you beat her in 89?
Okay, so he's still a wife beater. That doesn't make
What
him
are you in
a.
94?
It makes him a woman basher. It doesn't make him a murderer.
But they want you to apply a double standard. See, and I go back to Martin because, you know, I feel comfortable with Martin Luther King. Actually, I have some Malcolm X, but I'm not going to drop that today. I don't want to get that deep. But Martin Luther King, for Martin Luther King, justice was a critical issue in his life here on earth. And it was more than a legal issue, and it was more than a moral issue. It was a spiritual issue. And let me read to you what he said about justice. And they're just sitting there listening to me instead of staying with me. You got that quote? You still looking for that quote?
Still looking for the quote that I have memorized. All I know is Jimmy Cliff saying can't get no justice.
He never does that
Under
when
this-
Marshall Clark's up here talking.
Get no justice in this society. Great reggae song there. I'm not even going to try to sing
appropriate
reggae.
quote for this case. And
But yeah, Jimmy Cliff can't get no justice.
if he lets that happen again, he's lucky today's the last day of the trial. Read along with me what Martin Luther King said about justice. Justice is the same for all issues. It cannot be categorized. It is not possible to be in favor of justice for some people and not be in favor of justice for all people. Justice cannot be divided. Justice is indivisible. Okay? We can't have a system of law, a system of justice, or concept of justice, or concept of law, or a legal standard or burden of proof. We can't have reasonable doubt over here for everybody else, and then have another reasonable doubt standard for
To the left,
a particular individual. That ain't
It's just
justice.
a jump to the left.
Okay, that's not justice. That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about a double standard of justice. We can't have that.
Safe.
Let me ask you to ask yourself something.
Let me ask you to ask yourself something.
Ask yourselves this when you're in the jury room. As you go through all of that evidence, and I know you're going to critique each and every piece of it. I know you are. I can tell just by looking at you that you are. You're not going to let anything slip by you. You're not going to let anything get by you. You're going to take that evidence. You're going to take it apart. You're going to review it. Ask yourself something as you look at that evidence and assess how important or significant it is to you in this case. As you ask yourself whether it incriminates the defendant or not. As you ask yourself, as they want you to ask yourself, is it planted or not? Ask yourself, hey, if this wasn't OJ Simpson, would I even be thinking that this might be planted? Would I even be thinking that he wasn't guilty? Am I applying a double standard? Just ask yourself that.
Or just go back there and talk to each other and
Does
come back
anybody
4
else?
hours later with a verdict.
Same fine lawyers, same defense. How would you view the case then? Throughout this case, they have sent you and us on these little wild goose chases, chasing these red herrings. And
No, you
know,
chase geese on
some people
goose.
call them red herrings. Some people call them deceptions. Do you have my next exhibit ready?
You chase
Are you
geese
reading
on goose hunts.
Thing I
You
just
chase,
gave you?
you catch herring. Fuck off.
What do you got?
Huh. Let's go, paralegal. Get your shit together. You're making me look even stupider than I am. Come on, boy. Step it up.
Say that I'm not following my script. Item 5. You got that picture? Think of all the wild goose chases we went on. You remember early on in the case, at one time, we discussed the issue of the blood drops at Rockingham and how they got there. And there were all kinds of questions, lots of cross-examination directed at the officers. And as you recall, there appeared to be, on the part of the defense, an attempt to suggest to you that those blood drops at Rockingham were planted. Remember that? Remember how much time we spent on that? Remember how much time they spent crucifying Fung up here on the witness stand about blood drops at Rockingham? Remember the implications of all of that? How they attempted to suggest that he hadn't bled that night before going to Chicago?
No such argument.
Counsel, who's making the objections here? You or Mr. Carter? No, one person makes the objection. Who's making the objections? One person. Overruled. Proceed.
Thank you. Like they say, what's done in the dark will come to light. Just heard that yesterday.
Yeah, we just heard that yesterday.
Remember this photograph?
Ah.
Here's another red herring we all went chasing after.
I'm
Remember
going
that?
to bore you to death.
The police had contaminated the
I'm
scene.
Chris
They had
Darden.
traced
I'm
through
doing
that
my
same
Bane
crime scene. You
impression.
remember that? And they threw this photograph up there. And what did you think? You thought, oh my God. You thought contamination, garbage in, garbage out. Remember all that stuff? Remember that photograph?
Of the cop
Look at
walking through
little
the
square
blood
there on the right. See that little square there where they blocked out the name of the media entity that produced that footage?
Yes, that was required by the court.
Fucktard.
Remember they put that photograph up there?
Yeah, forget what I just said.
Mr. Wood?
That's okay.
I then with the $2
Then what
super
did we
chat.
do?
I'm so confused.
We
Am I
went and we got a
delirious or is he
video.
this bad? Yeah, he's this bad. You're not
We went
delirious.
and we got a video.
He's delirious. He's the delirious one, not you. Don't question yourself. Never doubt yourself. When in doubt, always blame Darden. Cindy Jackson, if you missed it, Chandler has gone her own way. She's busy preparing for the LSAT. She's doing her own thing. She's going to be doing a different trial here in a little while, apparently. But she is now busy doing real
What did we
life
find out
stuff.
when we went and got that video?
She spread her
We
wings and
found out
flown
that
the
when those
wild goose
officers
herring.
walked up that walkway, that the
Tasting.
tape had already been taken down, that the crime scene had already been disbanded. Remember that?
Go your own way.
They tell you not to believe the messenger.
Of course, I have direct contact with her, and I will.
And then Henry Lee comes in here and talks about, possible, maybe, wanna be, might be, I don't know, could be portions of imprints or footprints or whatever. And he's making these calls on photographs taken on June 25. See the cops walking up and down that walkway after the crime scene has been disbanded.
Overruled. Proceed.
And they tell you not to believe the message. And what about the cuts? What about the cuts? Was he cut? When was he cut? They tell you not to believe our message.
Sorry. I have
How
like
many times was he
it's
cut
only
that
OJ.
night, the night of June
It's only
12th?
OJ. This OJ thing for some reason it's like gets music
Is it a
going through my head.
coincidence that apparently at about the same time that these people being butchered, he somehow gets cut? And when did he get cut? When did he say he got cut? When did Dr. Batten say he got cut? And when did Dr. Heisinger say he got cut? Don't you think that little deal in Chicago with the glass, and Marshall
Oh.
Clark will be talking more about that. You want to talk more about
All right,
that?
what just happened? My mic, my earphone jack
Awfully
came loose.
convenient. How many times can one person get cut? In how many different states? In one night, in one morning.
Okay, Darden bobblehead, settle the fuck down.
They called him. He knew he had to come back. They said, oh, he just came back. Where was he going to go? I'd find him. And they tell you not to trust.
Good
The
one,
messenger.
JKD Buck.
And when they showed you photographs in their
Nice.
argument, they showed you all these photographs of
Nice.
the defendant's body, but they didn't show you that close-up photograph of his left hand. I'm not even going to ask you to put it up there.
That was good. I wish I would
They
have
didn't
thought
show
of
you that. Take a look at that photograph. Look at all those cuts. They're all over his hand. They're all over his left hand. That's the same hand that was left exposed during the commission of those murders because Ron Goldman pulled that glove off his hand. And they talk about, oh, well, does it look like OJ Simpson was in a struggle for his life? It wasn't OJ Simpson's life that was at stake. He wasn't the man about to lose his life. It was Ron. It was Ron Goldman who was in a life struggle. Look at the nicks and the cuts on him.
I think he had a little more than nicks. And
We
cuts.
talk about heroes.
What the fuck? Oh my lord. Okay, so Ron Goldman's fighting for his life. Okay, he's fighting for his life. What, like OJ is just like, you know, kung fu master. It's like, fight for your life. Fight for your life, big guy. Ain't gonna touch me. Oh, Nick. Yeah, come on. If the strapping young man is fighting for his life, there's gonna be marks
Talk
on
about
OJ.
heroes. A hero is a man that would rush into a life-threatening situation to save a woman without ever thinking about himself first. There are no heroes in this courtroom today. They called Ron Shipp a liar. They really went after him, the whole family. You know, and that puts, you know, if you're a lawyer for the prosecution, that puts you in a difficult situation when the family steps up to testify. You don't want to beat up on somebody's family. You don't want to do that. I mean, it's family. We understand that. We understand family.
We are family.
We understand why we have it,
brothers and sisters and me.
why they're so important to us,
We
culturally
are
speaking.
family.
I know mine is. Should my big brother do anything for me,
She.
like yours would?
My brother would just beat the shit out of
But you
me.
have to assess
Oh,
the
my big
credibility
brother
of
ever
those
did.
folks, just like all the other folks that testified in this case. But they went after Ron Shipp, and they had to go after Ron Shipp. They talk about Ron Shipp, his eyes being red and all of this stuff, you know. When you think on the issue of whether Ron Shipp was drunk or something that night, I hope that you go back and you read Arnell Simpson's testimony. And I'll just leave it at that. And I hope that you'll reflect on her testimony about Ron Shipp. But Ron Shipp, well, they tore into him early on in the trial, right? And that was the first real indication of just what this whole thing was going to be about. And they tore into Ron Shipp. And Let me offer to you a reasonable explanation for Ron Ship's eyes being red the night of June 13. Could it be because he knew that his friend Nicole was dead and that he knew his other friend had killed her?
Overruled.
They talk about this man's demeanor after the murders. What did Ron Ship say about his demeanor? He says they went up into that bedroom, and they did.
Overruled. Overruled, counsel. This is argument.
It's a shitty one, but I guess it is an argument.
And what did the defendant say? To be honest, I had been having dreams of killing her. Chuckle. They say that some people are afraid to hear the truth. I'm just a messenger.
Not a very good one, but I am.
He chuckled. Ron Ship had been a friend to this man for many, many years. To the defendant. He was his personal policeman. He did all kinds of things for him. All kinds of things for him. You saw Ron Ship in those photographs with the defendant at his 40th birthday party. He come over and used the jacuzzi and the pool. Looked like Cato had to ask permission to use the jacuzzi. Ron apparently just came over and used it. Ron Ship told you that he would not have the blood and Nicole on his hands.
Oh, so maybe he did it.
It's up to you to decide how credible he is or what significance you want to attach to his testimony, if at all. It's up to you. But you watched him on the stand, and you tell me, didn't he look genuine? Didn't he look like he was hurting? In 1989, he went and talked to the defendant about the beating he inflicted on Nicole. And I heard lawyers yesterday talk briefly about domestic violence and just slough it off to the side like
Slough?
it didn't mean anything. That's because they can't touch it and they can't deal with it.
Slough?
And he said that I could call Lenore Walker. I can't call Lenore Walker. There's a code section in the evidence code that says I can't call Lenore Walker. They know that.
What the hell is schluff? Is that like schlepping and
if they
sloughing
had.
off?
Ron Ship was feeling guilty.
Oh, how ironic. Barry Sheck is drinking OJ.
Yesterday, someone threw out this
They'll
notion
beat your
that
ass.
the murderer was after Ron Goldman's envelope. When you get the evidence back there in the photographs, take a look at the envelope. It is, for the most part, sealed. Still. That's the way they found it. Sealed closed for the most part.
Schluff.
Nobody was after that envelope. If someone was there to commit a theft, well, you saw that condo.
No. See, you guys are missing it. I'm making fun. I'm saying the word is slough. He said it's schluff, like SCH, schluff. He's mispronouncing schluff, not slough. See, KT knows what we're talking about. You're a schluff. You keep saying it's schluff this, schluff that, schluff that. Of course, slough is a word. That was the joke. That's why I was saying schluff and making fun of him and saying slough. That's why I said, is it a mix between slough and schlepp? He's saying schluff. Anyway, let's keep going.
You saw how nice it was. Is there any indication, any evidence at all that anybody went into the condo to steal anything, which they easily could have? This case has nothing to do with theft and robbery.
That's throbbery.
This
Theft
case
and
only
robbery.
has
That's
to do with
throbbery.
revenge and jealousy and control and rage. And I was referred to as Dr. Darden yesterday. Well, you know what?
And you
I don't
should.
know a whole lot about everything, but there's some things that I do know.
I don't know a whole lot about everything, but I don't know anything about a lot of stuff. It's overruled. Shut up.
You don't need a PhD to see what's going on here.
You
Your
don't have-
life experience, I think, will help you understand what's going on here. Just what you know, just what you read in the papers, just what you learned in school, and just what you heard from your friends and your girlfriends. Someone suggested that this pathway of death, this walkway of death where these two people lay, wasn't pitch black that night, that it would have been easy to see two bodies laying there. That ain't true. That's not the evidence in this case. Mr. Karp testified, and he lived next door. He testified that the lighting wasn't great at that location. And Stephen Schwab testified that that side of the street is dark. And you can find that testimony at page 13,813 and 13,866. Just reflect on the type of street lights they got out there, those orange things. Don't you hate those? Everything's dark with those. I don't know why they have those things.
This is improper
If you
argument.
don't want to rely on that, rely on Officer Risky's testimony.
This is like Grandpa Simpson giving a closing argument.
And rely on Sucru Bostepi's.
I'm scared and there are wolves
Testimony.
chasing me. Why do we have wolves?
He followed the dog. The dog, Cato, the dog. Not Cato the human, but Cato the dog led Sucru
Thank you for
to the
clarifying
bodies. And when the dog led Sucru up the path to the bodies, even Sucru Bostepi had problems seeing the bodies. And he walked right up there. He testified at page 13,940 that he didn't even notice the bodies at first. And then he went and got a police officer, Robert Risky. And at page 14,013, you remember his testimony. He testified that the lighting was very poor. It actually took us a few seconds to find the bodies. It was so dark. Robert Risky, Officer Risky testified.
Pretty much, that's what
Now,
he's
keep in
doing.
mind, this is somebody who's been told, hey, there are a couple of dead bodies right up the walkway here. Okay, I mean, he is looking for bodies, unlike these other people who aren't looking for bodies, like Ellen Aronson and Mandel and those other people who are out on a
Mandingo.
date, strolling up and down the street.
Great
This is
movie.
a policeman
And
on
Norton.
duty. He has been told that there are two dead people up this walkway, and as he walks up the walkway, he doesn't even see bodies initially. And actually took us a few seconds to find the bodies. It was so dark. We didn't see the bodies at all until we were directed by the witnesses. That's what Officer
Everybody
Risky said.
needs
And
somebody.
even then, he had to use a flashlight.
Everybody.
And they say
Someone
to
to
you,
kiss.
don't believe
Sweetheart to me.
the messenger. You are the ultimate trier of fact in this case. It is up to you to decide what is true and what isn't true, what is fact, what is not fact, what is material and what is irrelevant, what is helpful to you in resolving this case and what isn't. It is all up to you.
Leaving it all up to you. Okay, we've gone 19 minutes over the halfway point, and I have neglected to check in on the like and subscribe, but we haven't even 100 people here for the rebuttal in the, now you got 99. Somebody pussied out and left. No, we're all in this together, peeps. You're not allowed to go anywhere. We're in this. We got 2 more weeks after this, and then we'll be done. And then, as I said, we'll move on to a ritualistic witchcraft murder where a dude offed his mother and his 2 brothers in a ritualistic witchcraft murder. Allegedly. But how are we doing on our like and subscribe poll, everybody? If you haven't subscribed for some reason, God knows why you're watching this. If you're not a diehard Lorax Thursday OJ fan, I don't know what you're doing here, but I'm glad you're here. And if you haven't subscribed, please do me the favor of subscribing. You won't regret it. It costs nothing. It's free, and I'm entertaining. I think, at least in my own head, I'm really funny and entertaining. Subscribe if you have subscribed. Yeah, if you subscribed, I tried to say it with a sh like you did, but it didn't work. If you have subscribed, just double check to make sure you're still subscribed. Let's keep the growth happening. Let's make it grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, subscribe, and then take our like and subscribe poll. 120 votes and 104 likes. See, you're doing it wrong. How do you feel about hearing from Chris Darden today? So far, 10% of you said, ugh. 28% of you have said, meh. And it's a 31% tie with what did I do to deserve this? And just crying in a fetal position in the shower. That's a tie. Those are going to be our number 1 and number 2 today. So in about an hour, well, I guess about 40 minutes, we'll check in and see how it all ended. We don't have much more of this. We probably got about another 20 minutes of him, and then we're going to get into the lawyer fight. Stand by. Right, there we go.
And we don't have a problem with that. I don't mind you having this case.
I hope you don't mind. Well, I already did that
Especially
one.
since we kept you in custody 8 months now. I guess we kind of owe it to you.
8 months, 9 months, biatch.
But when you resolve this case, I just hope that you resolve it based on the evidence and not on the rhetoric of myself or others. They want you to believe that because there are no socks showing in that video. Remember the Willie Ford video? I'm not even going to show it to you because I want to hurry up and get off this.
Yeah, we want you to
thing.
do
I have
that
about 8 more
exact
pages,
thing.
and I want to finish this morning.
8 more pages.
Find a convenient breaking point then.
About 11 o'clock.
Court reporter needs a break, so find a break point.
Okay. 10:30 or now? Or close to now?
Closer.
Closer, okay. But just keep in
The
mind.
court
keep in mind
reporter's
the
got to
testimony you
piss.
heard
Come on,
about those
dude.
socks. So they keep saying
Read
socks,
between the fucking
socks,
lines.
Socks. And they keep talking about transfers, wet transfer stains on the inside number 3 surface inside the sock. Now, if you wear socks,
As many of you
you
do.
don't take your shoe off and then grab at the end of your toe and pull your sock off. They talk about planting blood and all this stuff. That's nonsense. When you pull off a sock, you stick your thumb or your finger into the sock, don't you? Into the sock, and you pull your sock down from the inside. You pull your sock down to your foot. Stains 1 and 2, he got that out there killing people. Stain 3, perhaps he got.
Oh, he does mistake. Come on.
Stain number 3, he could have got blood off his hand, blood from his fingernail. Who knows? He could have taken the sock off and laid it down, and then the sock touched the.
No, you're. Exactly. Who knows? You're not supposed to be giving more theories. That's the bitch ass move that Gravely was doing with the. I'm so wrapped up in this. That's what Gravely was doing with the Zachariah Anderson trial. Well, maybe this happened. Maybe that happened. Maybe the other thing happened. No, you're the prosecution. You're supposed to be telling us what happened. The defense is the one that gets to say maybe something else happened. You have to tell us how that blood stain got from the outside of the sock to the inside of that side, and then on the other inside part of the sock. You have to explain that. You have to say this is how that happened to remove any doubt that the defense puts in. But why am I doing this? He sucks. We know he sucks. He knows he sucks. Marsha certainly knows he sucks. Why am I telling him 30 years later?
Overruled, counsel.
You decide. You look at the pictures of the socks. The sides are, how else do you lay a sock down? The sides are touching. They're all touching in there.
You and Marsha, you're touching.
This is no big deal. This is all smoke. Common sense tells you that. Common sense dictates that. And when they say the socks aren't there, the socks aren't there, the socks are there. You heard Mazzola. You heard Fung testify. You heard Willie Ford testify. The reason those socks aren't in the video is because it was his job to go in there and videotape that room after Dennis Fung finished collecting the evidence. And they want to tell you about straps and stuff. And you know you didn't really get that because that just, woo.
What?
Something they just threw in to throw right past you.
Overruled.
Oh my God. Come on, Ito.
And they want to talk about the timer in the video. What did Willie Ford tell you about the timer? He didn't even care about the time in the video. He never even checked the time in the video. He never adjusted the timer in the video because it had nothing to do with his purpose in being there and with his purpose.
Overruled.
And with his purpose.
Lynn Barry,
in
thank you so much for the
videotaping
5 pounds. We're
that particular
stronger
group.
being
It
together.
was for civil liability purposes. He didn't want to contaminate the
Darden
evidence,
gets
contaminate
excited
the room,
when
so he
his
had
socks
to
are
wait
touching.
until after Fung had collected the evidence from the room. That is Willie Ford's testimony. You heard that brother testify. He looked like a co-conspirator to you,
Sorry, I missed that.
and they say don't trust the messenger.
Can the
All
court
right,
clerk
ladies and
take a
gentlemen,
pee
we're
now?
going to take
Good.
our mid-morning recess at this time. Remember all my admonitions to you. We'll stand in recess for 15 minutes.
Thank heavens we don't
All
have
right,
to wait
back on the
15
record.
minutes.
All parties are again present. Deputy Smith, let's have the jurors, please.
We address the court on just an issue or two.
One issue, yes.
Your Honor, when I began my closing argument yesterday, there was an objection that Ms. Clark made with respect to improper
Man, do-
vouching, but she misheard the testimony because
Do we just get to argue the entire time? Is he done? No, I don't think the argument starts for a while. I think they're actually going to argue, then they bring the jury back and then argue again. They can't possibly argue for the next
as I said,
40
we
minutes.
believe the evidence shows an innocent man wrongly accused. And I realize that was a mistake on our part in objecting, and the transcript bore it out. However, I do have some concerns here with respect to improper vouching. I think it is improper to make an argument to the jury that Marcia and I are the ones with courage. That is classic improper vouching. I don't think a
Yes,
district attorney
this is
will
when
have to say
this
that in
case
closing
made
argument,
court TV.
and that's why we objected. I think it's improper for the district attorney to talk about, I prosecute police officers, so I know. The implication is there, A, don't worry, I'll take care of Mark Furman, I'll prosecute him. B, if Detective Van Adder is lying, don't worry, I would know that. I think that's improper vouching. I think it's improper to make an argument, everybody knows he's guilty. That's wrong. I don't think that that kind of argument is permissible. I think it's impermissible if they wanted to call an expert about domestic violence. That's one thing, but I think it's impermissible to say I know a lot about certain things with respect to domestic violence issues.
I agree with
And most
Barry.
importantly, there was this whole
The
thing
lawyer
where they
shouldn't
put up
be
the
vouching for
video
the veracity of the
where,
witnesses.
as was indicated, the court had ordered that that part be redacted and indicated deception. But worst of all, he then makes an argument that Dr. Lee, that infers to the jury or directly states that those shoe prints could have been left by those officers taking the blanket away, when Agent Bodziak specifically testified, agreeing with Dr. Lee that they could not be. So that directly misstates the evidence. Finally, I would make this request, because this is the prosecution's rebuttal summation and we do not have a chance to get back up. And if there were misstatements of evidence in their opening closing arguments, we were able to get back up and read transcript and correct it. If we make an argument with respect to misstating the evidence, I would respectfully request that if the court is going to overrule it with the caveat, which I know is the thrust and substance of the court's ruling, the jury's recollection controls, because I think that's the fair and neutral way to do it. And so I make that request of the court, and I would also request the court caution counsel and that we have no more of this improper vouching, because I think it's an improper form of argument, and I'm talking about those specific matters.
All right, this matter submitted. Objection noted or overruled. Let's have the jury, please.
There are a couple of photographs, sir, a series of photographs of officers.
Judge,
The
come
prosecution
on.
expects to show, that I was just shown during this break, during Ms. Clark's presentation. I have an objection I want to lodge.
What's your objection?
Well, I object. I think it's very similar to where we wanted to show the photographs of Mr. Simpson with the gloves on. That was a still. These are photographs of Risky and the various officers, Lang and the others, and we object. And with regard to the last two photographs that I was shown, it still has the KTLA Channel 5 logo on those. So I wanted to lodge my objection, having just seen these things at this point. I think it's analogous. I think it's what the court has said. I haven't seen these before, and I presume they would be pictures would put up there as she would be testifying about.
Is this
particular
just
witnesses.
four photograph?
No, I think they're one at a time, as I understand it. You can see them if you care to.
There's still photographs of
The most photographs are still. Duh. If they're moving, they're videos.
I think Mazzola's in there also.
yeah,
I went
there's
through
still
the list.
photos. I just told Mr. Cochran when he said he was going to object to this, that the court overruled my objection. I had objected to the stills that they were going to use. They elected not to use them ultimately, but the court overruled it, saying the stills were proper. So I made this exhibit on that ruling.
Well, again, and you, of course, see the last two with the KTLA seal. And
Well, the KTLA seal is irrelevant,
I
Council.
thought it was irrelevant, but you had us clear it up before, I thought. But you had us cover that up.
That's at a time that where the source of it was not relevant to the issue.
All right.
All right,
Oh, Your Honor, one more
noted.
objection I want to note for the record, and that is, I also think it was an improper argument that Mr. Simpson gave his bags to his lawyer on the way in. First of all, there's no facts in the record establishing that Mr. Kardashian was in the act of representing Mr. Simpson at that point in time, or that there was any attorney-client relationship at that point in time. I think it's a highly inflammatory and improper argument.
Got to go with Barry on this.
Accord with the known facts in the case. And another one I think they came perilously close to with respect to the discussion of darkness at Bundy. And that is, we all were at the scene. Now, Mr. Darden wasn't. I appreciate that on the night that we did the jury view. And I have no objection to him citing from certain specific points in the record. But I would just like it noted, we all know what the lighting was like there, because we recreated the best we could. And then the prosecution chose not to take the jury on a nighttime jury view. It was their decision. And it seems to me that in terms of good faith arguments based on what is knowledge of all the parties here, that I think they have to be very, very careful in terms of raising inferences to the jury about what could be seen and couldn't be seen in light of what we know.
Well, what we know is from a recreation counsel, the testimony of the witnesses as to approaching that walkway under conditions of darkness on June the 12th and June the 13th are in the record, and it's a fair inference. The argument's concluded, counsel.
I understand that. I'm just saying that.
Sit down.
That was parallel.
Oh, wow.
That's a fair inference that can be drawn from the record. Also, I'm going to admonish counsel on both sides not to make any gestures, head shaking, grimaces, or any other responses to a counsel's argument. I've seen it on both sides, and if I see it again, I'm going to stop in front of the jury, and I'm going to upbraid you in front of the jury.
Upbraideth
Let's have the
not.
jurors. Just want to make sure we're safe. Mr. Darden, you may continue.
Ito getting pissed.
Just about done. Because I'm very anxious to get this case to you so that you can resolve it, so that we can have some closure.
So that you can give
as it
closure in
relates to this
4 hours.
Case. One of the things that was mentioned the other day was something about Robert Heitstra, and you remember Mr. Heitstra. He was a witness who had the laminated letter from Ethel Bailey saying that he was going to be an important witness for the defense. And much ado was made about Mr. Heitstra and why we didn't call him, we the prosecution didn't call him. And I think it was suggested that we didn't call him because he didn't fit our timeline. Well, they don't know what we're thinking. They can't read our minds. They called Robert Heitstra in the defense case. They don't know whether or not we were going to call him in the rebuttal case.
Fascinating story. Any chance you're nearing the end?
They don't know that. Robert Heitstra is a very important witness. They called him. Fine. As long as you heard the testimony, that's all that mattered. He testified that he left his house around 10:15, right? Isn't that what he testified to? He said he saw the clock in his apartment, as I recall. He left with his dogs. He left on a walk. He walked around the block, halfway around the block. And as he approached Bundy, he heard these dogs barking. And he told you that it was around 10:30. And I asked him some questions. I asked him, did you look at your watch when you first heard those dogs barking? No. All he could do was give you an approximation as to what time he heard those dogs barking. And in his best estimate, his best guess was about 10:30. And so he says he heard Cato, the dog,
I like how they have to
around
keep
10:30, that he changed
differentiating between
directions
Cato the
and walked
person and
down that
Cato the
alleyway.
dog.
He walked down the alley on the opposite side of Bundy. That is the side opposite from Nicole's condo. He walked down the alley, and as he walked down the alley, he heard someone yell, "Hey, hey, hey."
It was Fat Albert.
And he stopped and he paused.
Hey, hey, hey. It's
And he told
Fat
you that-
Albert.
That hey, hey, hey voice sounded to
It
him
was
to be
Bill
the voice
Cosby. Bill
of a
Cosby's the
young
killer.
man.
Bill
And
Cosby
he also
did it. He
told you he
roofied
heard
her
the
and
voice
did
of
it.
another man, an older man perhaps, with a heavier voice. Remember that?
Now I have to cut my mustache. It looks too much like Goldman's.
Remember that? And he continued to walk down that alleyway. And when he got down to Dorothy, he looked west toward Bundy. And what did he see? What did he tell you he saw? He saw a vehicle coming east from the direction of the alleyway that ran up behind Nicole Brown's condo. It was his vehicle. It was the defendant.
Most mouth left his head at the thief. Hey, my God.
I asked Mr. Heister, what color was that vehicle? He said it was white, just like the defendant's vehicle. I asked him if the vehicle had tinted windows. He said it did. You look at the pictures of the defendant's Bronco, tinted windows. Yesterday, someone stood up here and said to you, Heitstra never said anything about Bronco. He said a Jeep or a van. I asked Mr. Heitstra about the vehicle he saw. And he told you right here on the witness stand that the vehicle he saw was a Blazer or a Bronco. I asked him specifically. I asked him that specifically at pages 36,339 and 36,471. And at 36339, he told you, he testified. He was a defense witness. He testified that the vehicle he saw could have been a Bronco.
Could have been.
He didn't look at his watch. He didn't look to see what time it was when he first saw that Bronco. And what did that Bronco do?
Overruled. Counsel, ladies and gentlemen,
Uh-oh.
you've heard all the evidence. As I indicated to you when we started these arguments, counsel may argue to the evidence and draw reasonable inferences from that evidence. However, you are the exclusive judges as to what facts.
Now, wait a minute. Barry Scheck suggested he do this. Barry Scheck said, okay, you overrule it, but when you do, you make sure you tell them that it's their memories. Their memory is supersedes what the lawyers are saying. Go by their memory. And Ito overruled that. Ito said, no, I'm not going to do that. Now Ito's doing it. Scheck Jedi mind tricked him right there. Good. So now Ito is doing what he said he wasn't going to do when he overruled Scheck. Ha ha.
Exist from the evidence in this case. Proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that's true. But this is their witness. This is Robert Heitstra. That's what he testified to here in the transcript. It could have been a Bronco. It could have been a Bronco. That's what he said.
Probably the end of May, first week of June area.
And I asked him a question. Okay, well, you're saying Chevy Blazer or Bronco. I asked him a question at page 36,471. I asked him, Mr. Heitstra, a Chevy Blazer and a Ford Bronco looks very much alike to you, doesn't it? And his answer was, yeah, they look alike. Certainly, from a distance. I would suggest to you that the vehicle Heitstra saw leaving Bundy that night was a white Bronco. It's a white Bronco that has all that blood in it.
Oh, just a little bit more.
It's the white Bronco that's parked askew at the defendant's house.
Cameron, why stop there?
This is their witness. And I said it the other day, and I'll say it again today. I don't care what the time is. It doesn't matter.
Kind of does, though.
It doesn't matter at all.
Kind of does.
He didn't look at his watch the time that he saw that Bronco or that Blazer.
Well, if you saw a Blazer, he saw the wrong fucking vehicle.
And I asked him if he looked at his watch, and he told us he didn't look at his watch. And then I asked him how long it would take to get from Bundy to the defendant's house, because as you recall, Mr. Heitstra watched cars, detailed cars, for the Salingers, the people that lived directly next door to the defendant's property. And I asked him at page 36,413, counsel, at line 3, I asked him, Mr. Heitstra, would they have enough time to drive to 360 North Rockingham and arrive by 10:52? His answer, yes, you could do it. Yes, sure. And I went on to ask him, you could arrive there by 10:45, correct? Line 14, page 36413. And at line 15 on that same page, his answer was right. Yes. They want you to believe that Kato Kalin heard the thumps at 10:45, and Ms. Clark will explain to you how it is that we extrapolate some of the facts, some of the hard facts in this case, facts that can't be disputed, and we consider all the testimony and facts that help establish what time Kato Kalin actually heard those thumps. But it doesn't matter. If Kalin says 10:45 and that's his best estimate, Mr. Heister says, hey, there's enough time to drive that Bronco from this death scene, this scene of murder, to the defendant's house. And finally, we get to gloves. Finally, we come around full circle once again to the issue of gloves. And I watched one of the defense lawyers stand up here and pull a watch cap over their head and ask you what they looked like, if it changed their appearance.
Johnny.
Well, you know, in a lighted courtroom at the intersection of Temple and Bundy, it probably doesn't change his appearance at all. Especially after somebody's been standing up in front of you for 2-3 hours. But the issue is, would it change his appearance? Would it affect one's ability to recognize him if it was 10 o'clock at night? How about 10:03? Will it affect your ability to recognize him in the dark? And what if he had on dark cotton sweats? And what if it was dark out there in front of that condo the way Officer Risky described? Or what if he had a big knife?
What if? What
These
if?
little demonstrations.
Where is this evidence?
And then we saw one of the lawyers struggle with a pair of gloves. These are your gloves.
Yeah.
These gloves are size small. Defendant's gloves were extra large.
So?
We heard so much about the scriptures. I'm not even going to read it. Just read Proverbs 6 one day when this is all over. Now, if I'm the messenger, you know, I've delivered the message.
That's what messengers do.
As best as I could.
Which wasn't good at all.
And the message is that he killed these two people.
Oh, come on. It says that right there in Proverbs. OJ killed these two people.
Dictates. You know, they mess around with our science evidence and stuff and try to cause you to lose confidence in that evidence. But Marsha Clark will go back and go over some of the points we think you might be interested in hearing about to sort of straighten that out. But I know that you're going to do a good job when you go into the jury room. All I could ever ask from you, and all that I ask from you today, is that you try and be as objective as you possibly can be. That you not allow any passion or emotion.
Yeah, bro,
bias,
see you in 4 hours.
Any of that human feeling, those human feelings we all have to interfere with the decision you have to make. When I stood before you back in January, I said there were many victims in this case. And there are many interests involved in this case. It's an important case to OJ Simpson. And it's an important case to the victims and their families. We just want you to be fair. I just want you to do the right thing. That means the right thing under the law. We believe we've proven this case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, that would be a bad belief. That would be demonstrably incorrect.
It's unfortunate what jealousy does to you. It's unfortunate that obsession. It's unfortunate that obsession can do these things to you. It is unfortunate that two innocent people are dead because they got in this man's way. That's the message we wanted to deliver. And I'm the messenger, and I'm proud to have delivered it. I thank you for your verdict in advance. In the event I don't get a chance to talk to you then,
Yeah.
all
Don't
of us
thank
owe
him
you a
too
debt of
quickly.
gratitude.
Don't thank him too quickly.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Ms. Clark.
All right, the fight's about to go down.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine,
I'm not allowed
thank
to
you.
ask you that.
And
I
you?
just realized. Excuse me. I know you're tired of hearing us talk. I'm going to get right into the evidence because I want to go through what they said. I want to show you how the evidence corrects that. And I want to talk to you about logic. I want to talk to you about what makes sense, okay? Because you've been hearing a lot of stuff that really makes no sense. You've been hearing lawyers spin stories and spin yarns for you with no evidence to it. Not only does
Do we
it
have to
no
do
evidence,
Chewbacca
but
if
it
she
has no
says it
logic.
doesn't make
And
sense?
in that specifically, I'm
Just
talking
in case.
about Mark Furman swiping a bloody glove inside the Bronco. Well, that's a story. That's an interesting story, but it has no substance. Not only does it have no proof to it, but it also has no logic to it, and I'll show you why. And that's what I want to talk to you about now. Logic. What makes sense? In this case, we have seen what the defense has done, and it's been a very contorted, very inconsistent thing. I'm going to point out the inconsistencies to you. But basically, they have jumped from we are stupid
all right,
bumblers
Spatha
or
has
we
spoken.
are brilliant
She gets no
conspirators.
Chewy.
And he
No
includes
Chewy
us
for
in
you.
this. And I find that particularly painful, ladies and gentlemen, particularly painful, because I've been doing this a lot of years. I didn't start here. I started on that side of counsel table. I was a defense attorney. I know what the ethical obligations are of a prosecutor. I took a cut in pay to join this office because I believe in this job.
Nice.
I believe in doing it fairly and doing it right. And I like the luxury of being a prosecutor because I have the luxury.
That's actually,
on any case of going to the
I've
judge and
not
saying,
heard of
"Guess
many
what, Your
people
Honor,
that have gone from the
dismiss it.
defense to
It's
the
not here."
prosecution.
Ladies
In
and
my
gentlemen,
experience,
I
the
can come to
majority
you
of
and I can
people
say,
are prosecutors
"Don't
and then they
convict.
go to the defense.
It's not here." I have that right. I have that luxury. This job gives me that luxury. It doesn't give me a lot of money, but it gives me that luxury. I can get up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and say, I tell you the truth. I will never ask for a conviction unless I should, unless the law says I must, unless he is proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on credible evidence that you can trust, that you can rely on. I can never do it otherwise. That's my obligation. And that's why I'm standing here before you today, because we have proven it to you, ladies and gentlemen. If I thought for 1 minute there was a conspiracy,
Be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, would you have a signature, please?
Here we go. Get the jury out of here. It's on.
All right, record should reflect the jury is withdrawn from the courtroom. Ms.
Round
Clark,
one.
last comment
Begin.
that you made. If I thought for a minute there was a conspiracy,
finish it. It would be my obligation. Dismiss
we're
this
close.
case.
We're close here, counsel.
Your Honor, in view of the,
This has been
Wait.
highly I'm sorry.
Sit down. You're close, Ms. Clark. I realize it's not a complete thought, but what you can argue is what the evidence shows. You can argue ethical obligations that prosecutors have. I'm just cautioning you that you're close here. You're
Okay.
close to the line. You're not over it yet.
thank you, Your Honor. I was,
Mr. Scheck,
excuse me, may I just ask for one point of clarification? The thought as I completed it is acceptable, is it not?
it is.
All right.
But the eyes, every time the eyes get in there,
Yes.
And she's got
The
eyes.
only, let me just mention this. I have never had a defense attorney make an argument like Mr. Cochran made, nor have I ever seen a defense attorney get up and ask for jury nullification in this way. But when they do,
it was very artfully phrased.
Yes, it was. So shut up, Marcia.
I'll reserve comment. But what I'm saying, Your Honor, is that when a defense attorney does take the gloves off that way, hit below the belt the way Mr. Cochran does, the law permits us to argue our ethical obligations. The court's aware of that. Under People versus Padilla, under U.S. versus Wade, we have the right than to argue what our obligations are. I get to tell the jury the truth, that I have a luxury they don't have, a luxury I didn't have until I joined this office. They have to represent guilty people and stand up before the jury and say it hasn't been proven, no matter how well it has been proven. I
I'm sorry,
don't have
counsel,
to do
you're
that.
objecting to her argument to the court?
Yes.
Your quiet, please. I object to that. I think I have a right to do that.
Anyway, these are not remarks that I make to the jury, but when counsel takes off the gloves, makes personal attacks the way he has, saying basically that we're criminals, then we have the right under the law to correct that misimpression and to tell the jury we have ethical obligations that prevent us from pursuing a prosecution unless we believe 100%.
There's the problem.
Okay,
Unless you believe the evidence shows it.
right,
You have to be clear. You cannot infer that you have personal knowledge beyond the state of the evidence.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. No question. I wouldn't do that.
But you just did it.
Mr. Scheck.
Your Honor, they already have. They've gone over the line. Now, as the court noted, the argument yesterday, and it's one that these prosecutors have to live with, is that they put Mark Furman on the witness stand. He testified in a way about, Mr. Cochran accurately cited the record. He read from it, talking about how he went through all this terrible personal anguish and all these outside issues were raised, and he was presented as a totally credible witness. Now these prosecutors have to get up in front of the jury and say he's a racist and a liar. They have to do that because that's what happened. The jury is allowed to consider the fact that they were plainly taken by surprise by the perjury of their own witness. They also have a right to consider the fact that other officers probably knew these facts and never came forward. That's fair argument and fair comment on the evidence. What's unfair argument and unfair comment and clear law is for a prosecutor to stand up and say that I prosecute police officers, Marcia and I are the ones with courage, and then to go on now and say that she used to be a defense lawyer and now she's a prosecutor and she has the luxury of dismissing cases if the evidence is not there and coming forward if she thought something was exculpatory, et cetera, and then vouching personally for the reliability of the evidence is a highly, highly improper form of argument in this state, every state. They've gone way over the line and it's really got to stop. It's really got to stop. And I don't like to sit here and constantly say objection, 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 objection to improper forms of argument. And the court is being patient and controlled in terms of overruling it. But this is way, way over the line. I mean, I've been teaching law for 18 years and I never heard this kind of stuff. And I dare say that people, it's amazing. It's amazing. They cannot say it. And what's particularly galling is that they're saying it when they are the ones that have to live with the fact that one of their principal witnesses perjured himself after they put him on. It hurts. But Mr. Cochran's comments with respect to that are fair on the evidence. And trying to vouch in this fashion is improper rebuttal, an improper form of argument, period.
What I heard also was you can't trust the messengers and you can't trust the message.
Well, those were...
And wait. And Mr. Darden clearly cast himself as a messenger in his argument. That was a clear shot at the integrity of counsel on this side, and they're entitled to respond.
Wait a second. I think that's incorrect, and please hear me on it. Mr. Cochran's arguments yesterday, Mr. Darden got up and said, I'm just the messenger sending you evidence. Mr. Cochran got up and said, the messengers in this case are the witnesses. The messengers are Mark Furman. Oh, he did. And Van Adder. He talked about these messengers being deceivers. And that is the argument. Now, I don't see how the court can allow this kind of vouching if you are inferring that there's some kind of, metaphor crossover here. Mr. Cochran has a perfect right. It is a total fair comment on the evidence to talk about these prosecution witnesses as messengers. If Mr. Darden chooses to cast himself as a messenger too, well, that's fine. But I didn't interpret that as a comment on Mr. Darden. It was a turn of phrase, and he specifically talked about these witnesses. And to the extent that Mr. Cochran is pointing out that Mark Furman was put up there first as a credible witness, and now they have to admit that he's a liar as they did, and they're distancing themselves, that's fair comment. What's unfair comment is for them to get up here and in this fashion vouch for every other witness and every other piece of evidence in a highly improper form. They've gone way over the line, way over the line.
Cite me a case, counsel, California law dealing with comments of counsel.
Well, Your Honor, you have discretion here, and we all know the basic principles in terms of the American Bar Association.
I have cautioned them, counsel.
Rules. I'm sorry.
Well, the California State Bar is a bar that is unto itself and has its own rules, counsel.
I've read the Giona's case, and I understand that they can say things that you can't say in other jurisdictions about smoke screens and the rest of it. But in this jurisdiction and in every other jurisdiction, there are rules about vouching, and they've gone over that line.
Well, here's the problem.
Instruction. I think the court should at least give a balanced instruction at this point to the jury that it is not the prosecutor's personal views or personalities or anything else about the evidence that govern. It is their view of the evidence, and they should take that. I think we are entitled to an instruction like that at this point.
What a prosecutor may not do is a prosecutor may not express personal opinion or belief in the defendant's guilt, where there is some substantial danger that the jurors will interpret this as being based upon information beyond the evidence produced at trial.
That's what they did.
I have not heard that yet.
I did.
That's a different improper form of argument. And I think actually Mr. Darden was pretty close to that when he was talking about everybody knows. And yesterday he was saying things like he's a murderer. I think he actually went over that line, but let's put that aside. What I'm most concerned about now. Are you saying
that there is a substantial danger that when a prosecutor stands up and says that the defendant accused of murder is a murderer, that goes over the line?
No. I'm saying that you just read in terms of a prosecutor's obligation, he's got to say things like the evidence shows we submit. And I think that in terms of rhetoric, he went over that line, but let's put that aside. What I'm most concerned about, and the court frankly is not addressing here, the court can't be seriously suggesting that a form of argument that says we are courageous, we know our ethical obligations, we are telling you that this evidence is correct. If I thought there was a conspiracy, I would come forward and tell you all that. Everything they've been doing this morning is an improper form of argument. It's improper vouching. And Your Honor, I think you know it. And I think that we have to have an instruction here.
You're close here, Mr. Scheck.
I've made my point, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Clark, I'm cautioning you, though.
I understand that.
People versus Bain, 5 Cal 3rd, 839. The court's comments at 848.
I'm aware.
You're cautioned.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think Barry's absolutely correct there. I think it's absolutely improper to say, we would have done this. We know this. We know he's telling the truth. That's exactly what they were doing. They were vouching. And I didn't want to interrupt Barry with the super chat. So now we'll go through the super chats here that came up during Barry. She should stop mentioning gloves, says 10-gauge cheesehead. I completely agree. Stop it. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Duncan Idaho with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support. He called us criminals, and that gives me a bad fee-fees. I object. Oh, sorry, I should say criminals. He called us criminals, and that gives me bad fee-fees. I object. Yeah, that's pretty much. And Duncan Idaho. I just read that. Adara the Wholesome, thank you so much for the $2. Lawyer fight, give him the chair, Barry, TKO. Exactly. Bring a foreign object in the ring. Stab him. Cut. No, that was okay. Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about stabbing in the OJ Simpson trial. And Duncan, Idaho, again. Imagine being an attorney in a case you don't believe in, where your witnesses are liars. I think that's the sort of thing that gives people ass cancer. So apparently, YouTube doesn't like the word term ass cancer. You have to couch it as A5 C4. All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I completely agree with Barry. I believe Barry was correct. I think they crossed the line. Judge Ito doesn't think so, and he was the judge, so he wins. But I do like this is the second time he's told Marcia that she's coming really close to making a really bad mistake, and she needs to rein it in.
I don't want to hear any more eyes.
Right.
I.
You won't. I'm ready.
She's been
Ready.
admonished.
No more eyes.
Deputy Smith?
Oh, we're right at the end here. I'm sorry. We have to do it before we end.
I don't want to hear any more eyes.
Right.
Hang on.
You won't.
I should have done it at the beginning, but we have to do it now. Because this is the end. Earpod alert, earphone warnings. If you have your earphones in, be warned, because right back here, in the very top right-hand corner, we have a body snatcher sighting. We've got a body snatcher sighting. 3, 2, 1. Donald Sutherland, Canadian. There we go. We had our body snatcher sighting for the day. Right back there. All right. But this is the end.
I'm ready to no more eyes.
Deputy Smith?
And that, ladies and germs, is the end of today. 2 more weeks. She's going to wrap it up next week, and we will have the verdict and the aftermath the following week. Oh, no, we won't. It's going to be a while before we wrap this up. Why? Because starting on the 20th, it's going to see, this is going to be close. The 21st is next Wednesday. The trial of Hannah Gutierrez is supposed to start on the 21st. I assume that's going to be jury selection. Jury selection may take 1 or 2 days. But we will be following the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial. So if that starts before Thursday, if they actually start with the opening statements in that case before Thursday, we won't be doing OJ until that finishes, because we're gonna interrupt all of our programming for the Hannah Gutierrez trial, the armorer in the Alec Baldwin Rust movie shooting of Helena Hutchins. So stand by for that. And as a matter of fact, that's what we're doing tomorrow. There was a hearing yesterday where she tried to get everything dismissed, and she tried to get some evidence excluded. That was all overruled. Her charges are not going to be dismissed, and they get to hear about her drug use and her alcohol abuse on the set. Those were all things that they tried to get excluded. We're going to be watching that hearing tomorrow, and then we'll start the hearing whenever it starts. So if jury selection takes through Thursday or Friday, then we'll get to OJ. If it doesn't, we'll start. But also on Friday, next Friday is February's Fuck It Friday stream, where we just say fuck it, and we grift shots. That's you throw all of your money at me, and we do lots and lots of shots. When you have a panel, I gotta send out the invitations for the panel. People are asking about it, so we should have a decent panel again this month, as always. It might be a little bit abbreviated because we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll do that on Friday morning. We alternate between Friday morning and Friday night because different time zones and whatnot. So we'll be doing F It Friday next Friday, regardless of whether or not the trial is ongoing. If the trial is going by that time, we'll just do F It Friday, and then maybe on Sunday, we'll do a catch up stream. But that's what's going to be going. We're going to be doing the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial from start to finish as we normally do. So stay tuned for that. So again, just to clarify what's going to be happening tomorrow, we're going to be watching yesterday's hearing in the Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Excuse me while I cough. Yeah, we'll be doing, and see, we have to actually kind of stop calling her Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Now that she's going to trial, her government name is Hannah Gutierrez, not Gutierrez Reed. Ian Runkle mentioned this on his stream. She's using the Reed. She wants the Reed to be in there because her father was Mr. Reed, who is a legendary armorer in Hollywood. And she kind of wants some of that clout, but her actual government name is only Hannah Gutierrez. So up to this point, we've been calling her Hannah Gutierrez Reed. She's just going to be Hannah Gutierrez moving forward now that the trial is underway. So there we go. That's going to be tomorrow. And then Friday, tomorrow is Friday for me anyway. I guess kind of anyway. That's what we're going to be doing on Friday. Monday, I'm trying to get something lined up for Maritime Monday. We'll play it by ear. Tuesday, don't know. We've probably going to be doing another Clayton Eckerd stream. We got a lot of stuff going. And then Wednesday, the trial's supposed to start. But again, it might just be jury selection starting next Wednesday for Hannah Gutierrez. If it is jury selection, we're going to go back in time and revisit her police interrogation. That was one of the first videos I ever did on YouTube was Hannah's interrogation by the police. So I want to go back and do that again just to refresh us as to what she knew and what happened. So if it's jury selection, we'll do that. If it's opening arguments, we'll do that. That's what's coming up for the next little while here on Ye Olde channel. And with that, we're going to shut this bad boy down. We're not going to go 2 billion hours tonight. And then once everything settles down, we'll continue with OJ. All right. That is it. Mods, thank you so much for being here and doing moddy stuff. You guys are great. Again, couldn't do without you. Mods, everybody give a big round of applause for the mods. They deserve it. And then give yourself a great big round of applause because the Vice Squad chat is the greatestest of all chats on the, not just YouTube, but the entire internet. You guys, the Vice Squad, you're what makes this shiz happen. And so keep that in mind. Give yourself a super special thanks for being here and sticking through Chris Darden for another couple of hours. We had a great fight there at the end. Good to see some sparks flying at the end. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send you over to Danny on Direct. Danny on is doing her trial. We're going to send you on over to her. Let me get that locked and loaded here, and then we'll shut it on down. I'm so excited that you guys were here. You guys are awesome. You make this all worthwhile. And I would have no reason to be here if you guys weren't here. So thank you so much, chat, for your support. Thank you so much for just being here and chatting. We're having a good time with this. Where's Danny? I don't see Danny. Danny on Direct. There we are. The missing mom trial. Forward, redirect, save. All right, we are locked and loaded and ready to go. Everyone, go on over to Danny on Direct. You should get over there automatically. If not, there's going to be a little blue box up there that says something's happening over on Danny on Direct. Click it to go there. If that doesn't work, then just search for Danny on Direct and join her. Let her know the Law Rack sent you. Let her know it's a Legal Vices raid. We'll see y'all on over there. Thank you for being here. You rock. Thanks. Take care. Bye now.